Okay, so the first topic we're talking about today is COVID, trade, and inflation. Those are three separate things all kind of tied together. And the big point today is talking about how that the Delta variant from India, right, that mutation that was obliterating people,
Yeah.
is coming to China and to Asian countries. So what's happening is you're seeing a lot of lockdowns, you're seeing a lot of
Hmm.
heavier precautions that's slowing down trade activity at the ports. You're seeing in Taiwan, right? You're seeing the semiconductor industry saying things like, "Oh, reduce production 15 to 40%." So there's clearly going to be a material effect to this, which is kind of compounding onto the supply chain at a time we're trying to get trade everything back to normal. So, and we can still see that COVID in, whatever, however you feel about it, right? There's still a material effect of it somewhere out there in the economy and the market. Even if you think that it's irrational, well, they're still doing lockdowns, they're still doing extra testing, so things are happening, and they may cause more supply chain interruptions, which makes things more expensive, right? Would pump up inflation. I mean, everything from copper, corn, soybeans, and oil, right? All the stuff that we need, our commodities are all going up in price. Countries like Brazil, Russia, Turkey, China, they're all experiencing inflation. Russia says that their inflation is not transitory, meaning they recognize that inflation might be here to stay. So we're seeing a lot of tightening of monetary policies, countries kind of saying, like, we recognize inflation is coming. We're trying to stop stimulus. We're trying to make sure we don't let our economies run too hot, because if you run too hot too long, inflation turns into hyperinflation. And then prices of things are so high that you can't afford them. And that causes big problems. You can't afford to buy stuff. Um, in the Eurozone as well, their CPI, like our CPI, or Consumer Price Index, they were up 2%. So they're experiencing inflation as well. It's all over the world. It's global. It's not just here, and it's continuing. But then on the flip side, right, farms, agribusinesses, countries that do a lot of exporting, like Brazil, their economy's back to pre-pandemic levels. Why? Because all those high prices we're paying, well, it's going to countries like that who are exporting soybeans and coffee and stuff. So there's always two sides to the coin, right? While cost of commodities may be going up, to for us, the amount of profit made by other countries who export them is going up. So, but there's definitely inflation, and we're going to talk more about this over the weekend, and we're going to talk more about this in a longer segment. But we're definitely seeing inflation around the world, and where people are taking notice. All countries taking notice of this. So,
Interesting, interesting. And so, like you mentioned, like copper and other resources that have been going up. The reason I bring up copper is because I know that when it comes to what is it, green energy, the use of copper is definitely highly valued, and so
yeah,
they're trying to get more technology to obviously push towards a greener world, and this is obviously increasing the price of copper. Now, is copper undervalued right now? Is this a buying time for copper? As in, like, if we're
no,
looking at future
no,
markets?
no. Copper's at a record high in terms of how much it costs. I would not be wanting to buy lots of copper at these prices, because we're seeing problems in the supply chain that make these things more expensive, because the demand is high, but the supply isn't necessarily there. So I definitely, corn and soybeans are at an 8-year high. Oil's at a 2-year high, which brings people, that make them afraid that if oil keeps going up, well, plastics are a result of using oil. So then things that are made of plastic, you're seeing, derivative products and derivative materials that will be affected by these commodities as well. So I definitely wouldn't buy copper. Like, if you think about owning copper, because it's a good investment, like, you're gonna buy raw copper. I don't think so. And then the prices,
Why?
in theory, should go down. And fine,
How
that's what
how
people are
much
saying,
is
but
wood up right now? How much is the price of wood up at the moment?
I think it's up. I think it's like 100% higher. I know in Jersey the cost of, like, sheets of plywood have almost doubled or tripled in value, because I have some friend who was doing projects, doing home improvement through COVID, and were paying for these things. They were literally seeing the price of cabinets and two by fours just going up and up and up, to the point where they don't even know if they're going to continue the current project. They're going to wait, because the doors cost 3 times as much as they should, because lumber is going through the roof. Which is also why home builders aren't building as many homes. Their supply chains are very expensive, right? And if you're gonna cost that much to build the house, you have to charge a ridiculous amount for it, but that's not actual value. It's all inflated. So it makes building harder, because you got to pay the workers, right? You have to add all these extra costs, and that might hurt the bottom line.
Yeah.
So lumber's up. Yes, lumber is up very much as well.
Great, great. And since most houses are made of lumber, is this also
Or
naturally
some portion of.
increasing the value of homes just based off what your home's made out of?
Yeah,
Definitely
but
heard about
I
that.
I think that would definitely increase the cost of new homes to build, but existing homes, It's not like, okay, lumber costs more, so like if I mean, if you were selling your home for parts and good scrap wood,
Yeah,
maybe. But not existing homes, the price is pushing that up. Or like we talked about yesterday, funds buying them, people bidding them up, more people wanting to leave the city and get suburban homes and out away from cities. So and they have a very constricted supply, no one wants to sell. So those are definitely pushing up existing homes. But I would say that's definitely lumber would definitely be a big factor in new homes sales. But those prices would be up definitely because that would be a factor. Yeah.
Okay.